So I just got the starter motor out. It is in an absolute shit of a spot. It's right, like the top bolt up there really sucks to get to. My hand was cramping and etc, etc. But it's out now. I disconnected the wiring off the gearbox. It's just 2 wires there and then a little clip up there that holds them in. I think yellow's the top one, red's the bottom one. And I also disconnected the negative wire off of the starter motor. And yeah, so now it's time for loosening the engine mounts and then gearbox will be coming out. So I just pulled all the interior crap out. It was literally just screw this knob off, click those 4 pins out, and then nut on this. Oh, the nut was on that one, but this one's fixed and this one will move, so I put it on that one so it'll stay in place. But this one screws into the little bit in there, and then this one has that nut on it. So just took those off. They're 13 mils. I don't know if that's stock or not, but yeah. And then what else have I got out? I took the cross member bolts out and loosened the engine mounts as well. So I took the 4 cross member bolts out, and I'm just letting it hang now with the engine mounts loose, so that I can get up to those bolts up there a whole lot easier, because it's quite a tight space unless you do that. So yeah, I'm going to start taking the gearbox bolts out now, and then should be ready very soon to pull it out. So it is the next day, and I stopped on the BA pretty early last night because I ended up helping Zahn with his AU. We were getting the preload sorted out, and now we just got to adjust ride height because it still sits pretty low. It's meant to be a daily, so it doesn't need to be basically tucking 18s all round. So he's going to lift that up today, and I have got everything out but the gearbox. So I'm going to start on the gearbox bolts, and then it should be out in 20 or so minutes. Yes. I won't video the process. I probably won't video much of the process of this. It'll just be saying step by step what I'm doing, just because it is a real pain in my bum, and my SIM or micro SD even on the I just woke up on the GoPro is not very empty. No, very empty. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, the BA is looking pretty good though. But now I will be spending the rest of the day under the car. So after I loosened the engine mounts and the cross member bolts, I took the cross member bolts out, so now the gearbox is just hanging. So it's like nice and hung down, so that those bolts up there are a little bit easier to access. They're pretty easy to get to now, but usually without doing that, they're a real pain in the bum. So if you guys are watching this as help to do a gearbox swap or manual conversion, or even do a clutch, then do that. It helps a lot. And now I've got about 14 kilometers worth of extensions, so that I can get right up in there and still have the rattle gun about here. So I'll get these bolts out and then we'll get on to removing the clutch. So I got all the bottom of the gearbox bolts out. Well, I got all of the gearbox bolts out. So it's just currently sitting there on a jack stand. And I tilted the motor back a little bit further, so it should clear that around the it should clear that tunnel a bit better. And what I forgot to mention was bleed the clutch. So it's just that little one there into there, and then up the top, so you're bleeding it down here so it's easy to catch the oil coming out of it, because then when you get to the top up here, there's a little circlip that you need to remove on this hose. So I've currently got it blocked up, but it's the one that goes onto this. The circlip goes around there. So you just want to pop that off with a very small screwdriver and then a little bit bigger of a screwdriver. That's what I did. And then you just got to pull it straight out and then rag that up so no fluid leaks out of there. And then that'll come out with the gearbox. So once that is all done, the gearbox should be ready to pull out. All the wiring is disconnected. So now it's just time to slide the gearbox out. Once this oil is drained, I'm just going to wait for it just so that we don't have any mess under the car. It's just very slowly draining. It's nearly done, so then should be just about right to pull this gearbox out. So I kind of got ahead of myself and pulled the clutch and flywheel and dust cover off as well. So the clutch was pretty easy to get out after I just used that thing there as a bit of leverage, and then I used the rattle gun for the flywheel. It's literally just 6 bolts. They were pretty easy to get out. And then the dust cover just goes onto those dowel pins there and there. So you also need to replace the flywheel bolts every time you do your flywheel, because they stretch. They're a stretch fit, so when you put them in there, they stretch, so it weakens them obviously. So if you use them again, there is a higher chance of them snapping. It's not that important, but I mean, if you're driving the car hard, then you probably don't want them to snap, because then you have to redo it all. I'm not going to replace the spigot bearing or the rear main seal. They both look pretty good. I have them both here to do, but all of this will be coming out soon enough anyway when I put that FG motor in it, so there's not really any point. It's only preventative, and they look fine as it is now anyway, so she'll be right. But now we just need to get out the blue steel kit and start putting on the flywheel. I need to find my ARP bolts as well to put in there. I'm not going to run the dust cover, because when I pulled the gearbox off, so the dust cover covers all this up and everything, so it still allows all whatever's in here, which is nothing, to drain. But when I pulled the dust cover off, there was water come from inside of the bell housing of the gearbox. So I dare say it would have seeped in there probably through this, because that's just a plastic cover at a wet pan event, and then couldn't escape because that dust cover was there. So I think it may be a little bit safer and better for my motor to not run that dust cover. Gives it a little bit of room to let that water out. So we're going to run it like that. People say don't do it, people say do it. But I don't really care. That's kind of what's best for me at the moment, is if we're going to be doing more drift events and obviously driving in the wet as well. If there was water trapped in there, then I'm going to have it removed. Other than that, that's about it. I'll show you guys the blue steel kit and the ARP flywheel bolts that you need. But yeah, the flywheel has a fair few hot spots on it, and you can feel that it's pretty uneven, but that's just from absolutely thrashing the car. It's expected. Like, honestly, I was kicking the clutch a lot, and then the clutch is the same case. It definitely needed to be replaced. I know why it was slipping, because yeah, there's not much meat left on it, and then there's the same hot spots the whole way around that. So was definitely due for a replacement. I don't know how old it was. I dare say it's pretty old, because it was 2 old owners before me, so they wouldn't have been doing much thrashing to the car. And I've been to 3 drift events with that same clutch, and it's not a heavy duty either, so it's done me pretty well. But yeah, I'll get on to showing you this HD clutch and flywheel and bolts, and then we'll start putting them in. So this is the blue steel flywheel. It looks bigger than that one, but as long as the bolt holes line up, which I'm yet to figure out. I haven't put them together yet, but I will after this video. I'll make sure that they all line up so that I'm not wasting my time under the car. And then just the clutch. This is a heavy duty clutch, so it should be a lot nicer for drifting. And yeah, and then it came with all the accessories, so clutch alignment tool, the bleed valve for the clutch slave. That's the new spigot bearing. I didn't know that one came in the kit, so I actually bought another one. These are the, I hope they're not the flywheel bolts. That's disgusting. What are these? Okay, I think those are the flywheel bolts that they've given me, but we're using ARP. I only use ARP when we're doing this. These are the clutch bolts. So, and then the dowel pins are also in that, so I'll have to hit the dowel pins into the flywheel myself. And then once we get that on, we'll be ready to put the clutch in. But the GoPro's currently about to go flat, so I probably won't be able to video much more of this process, but it's basically just the reverse. I won't video me putting it in, but I'll video once it's in, and then the next steps that we've got to go through. But it's pretty simple from here. So we're back under the car, and we've got the flywheel on. Just got one bolt majority of the way in there, because I put that in without the assembly lubricant, like the fastener. But I just wanted to say, make sure before you put the clutch on the flywheel, you clean it off with brake and parts cleaner and degreaser and all that. So just to make sure that that clutch disc does grab the surface of the flywheel. And make sure you also put the bolts in a star pattern so that it goes on smoothly and nicely and balanced. And make sure they're all torqued. I don't know what the spec is for this. I just usually do them up as tight as I can get them. Hand, like with a breaker bar. I don't use the rattle gun or anything like that, because it's kind of overkill. But yeah, so we are gonna start on doing that, and then we'll be putting the clutch on. I also had to put the dowel pins in with the hydraulic press, because the blue steel kit doesn't come with the dowel pins in there already. All of the other kits that I know of, like Exidy and Extreme, they do have that. They do have them already in there, but the the blue steel kits don't. So back again for a third day. I went and stayed at my parents' house last night, and some Mazda 3 content coming soon, because about 2 years ago I hit a roo in it, and it was left in the paddock ever since. So I went up there last night and then stayed there this morning. I got it started up. It literally just needed a jump start from sitting there for 2 years, so we got that all started up. I don't have any content of it because I left my camera here, and so now we're back onto the BA, and I'm just taking the clutch slave cylinder or master cylinder, I don't know, I don't really care. I'm pretty sure it's a slave cylinder, but I'm just taking it off. So I've already disconnected this clutch line, and I've got 2 Allen key bolts. Oh, they're not really Allen keys, they're that other one that in this kit. Ah, they're not even in that kit. Wow. They're like that star head on them. I think they're called hex heads or something like that. But I've got to get those out, replace the clutch slave, and then reattach that line, which I'm pretty sure is a 10mm and a 14mm. And then the box will be ready to go back in the car, because yesterday we got the flywheel and clutch back up in there and all aligned and wiped out and everything. Zahn's currently doing more stuff to the AU once again. And yeah, so I'll get this slave cylinder back in, and then we'll start putting the gearbox back in. So it's currently 5:45 in the morning. I just got home from work. Just a quick little 12-hour shift, night shift that is. And yeah, so I got this gearbox bolted up. And yeah, I just put the bolts in it. I haven't used the rattle gun yet because I don't want to wake anyone up. So putting the starter motor in, I can't find this ratchet end 13mm spanner for the life of me. But I'm going to keep searching and keep you guys updated on how it's all going. But yeah, the gearbox went in pretty easy. We threw it right in first try, so we're getting used to pulling gearboxes out, which is, I don't know, a good thing and a bad thing. But yeah, I don't know, I'm so tired. I'm surprised I didn't drop that gearbox on myself, to be honest. But that's bolted up, about to put the starter motor in, and then I'll torque the gearbox bolts up, unjack the front of this motor up, jack the box up, do the cross member bolts, and then once I've done that, I'll get back to yous. But need to find this 30mm ratchet spanner, and I don't know where it is, so gonna keep searching. I hope Ricky didn't eat it. Did you eat it, Ricky? Did you eat the ratchet spanner? That is the look of guilt. I don't know, it could be anywhere, couldn't it, Rick? FML. KMS. Die. Yeah, I'll find it. We'll be right. Somewhere, I guess. Oh, far out. I definitely need a Red Bull. Should go to the servo and get a Red Bull. I don't want to work on this car. I hate this car, but I love this car. I love driving this car, but it sucks. But I'll be right, I'll live. Just woke up Zom for work as well, because he's working today's Sunday shift. And then I'm back on night shift tonight, so I need to get this done as quick as possible so then I can get to bed, so then I can go to work. But even then, at the end of the day, it's still defected and I can't drive it until I can get a blue slip for it, which my day off is Tuesday, I think, yep. So I'll get home, get a blue slip for it then. I think, hopefully, I don't know. I need to book in for it, but yeah. So it's now a couple hours later. I haven't been working on it this whole time. Just been slowly ticking things off the list. It was all like that, so I just put ticks next to it. So all I've got to do now is put the exhaust on, reconnect the battery, and then do the oils, and then that's it. My only problem with the exhaust is I need to get it welded, because, well, I think I may have showed it in previous videos. I have something in my foot. Yeah, she's got a... That's a crack. So, yeah, you know. Just what we want. That's why it's got an exhaust leak. But it's about 8:30 now, and I've just been cruising around because Super Cheap opens at 9 o'clock, I believe. So put this exhaust on, and then I'll go and pick up the oil that I may not even have to go pick up oil. Oh, what an idiot. I probably don't even have to go pick up oil, but I stayed up this late. That's engine oil. We have a fair few here, so. But that. No, VE. Diff. I will have to go get oil. yeah, I will have to go get oil because I already have ATF. That Penrite Dex 3, but I'm gonna grab some manual trans oil and then do a 50-50 ratio, so it's not as thick as manual but it's not as thin as auto. Just a good mix of in between. It actually works really well, surprisingly, so should be what we're looking for. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna get this exhaust on and then we should be pretty well done. Go and get this oil, go to bed, and then when I wake up to go to work, I'll throw on the oil because everyone should be awake by then, because I need like 3 people to bleed the clutch, because I'll go down the bottom where the trans is, need someone to make sure it's full and someone to pump the clutch. Yeah, that should be about it, I believe. So yeah. Oh, and then trans oil, but I'll do that, the servo as well. If I got time, I'll take it for a test drive. Because we live on property, so I can take it for a test drive. I believe that's it. And connect the battery. But that should be it then. That'll be everything. So, awesome. So, it is the next day. I just got back from work once again. Still on night shift, unfortunately, but we've got everything done. The car runs, the clutch works, everything is as it should be. I haven't taken it off the jack stands and given it a test drive yet, but that's what I'm about to do. So we just bled the clutch and put trans fluid in it and connected the battery this morning. So everything should be good to go now. Hopefully. Fingers crossed and touching wood. I'll video the test drive. But yeah, hopefully we're all good.